There are moments in life when words fail to explain the kind of power some people carry. It is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is not shown through fame or noise. It is quiet yet unshakable. When a woman walks into a room with high spiritual energy, the air changes. People might not understand why, but they feel something different. Something calm, something real, something strong. Stay till the end of this video, because when you understand these unseen marks, you will begin to recognize this power within yourself or in the women around you, and that awareness will completely change the way you see strength forever. The world has always celebrated the loud kind of power, the one that shouts, wins, fights, and shows control. But spiritual power is something the world rarely notices because it hides beneath peace. It is the kind of strength that doesn't need to fight to prove itself. It doesn't demand to be seen, yet it cannot be ignored. This power is born when a woman chooses inner growth over outer validation. It rises in silence when no one is watching. A woman with high spiritual power carries an aura that is not built through beauty or wealth, but through alignment. She has faced storms inside her mind. She has battled fears that no one knows about. She has fallen broken and rebuilt herself with grace. That journey gives her a glow that no makeup can create, and a calm that no luxury can buy. Her power lives in how she carries pain, how she forgives, how she rises again and again without seeking applause. Most people confuse quietness with weakness, but silence is a language of its own. It is a language of people who no longer need to prove their worth. A spiritually strong woman doesn't chase noise because she has met herself in stillness. She has listened to her own thoughts in the middle of chaos and found peace there. That peace becomes her weapon. It makes her untouchable to the chaos of others. Human psychology shows that when people see someone who stays calm under pressure, they feel both curious and drawn to them. Because deep down we all wish for that kind of stability. We admire what we cannot easily achieve. The woman with spiritual power mirrors the kind of person everyone secretly wants to be. Someone who cannot be shaken by external storms. Someone who lives from the inside out, not the outside in. She knows that true control is not about controlling others, but mastering herself. Her emotions do not rule her. Her thoughts do not own her. She observes them. She understands them. Then she decides how to respond. That is real power. Most people react without thinking and call it strength. She pauses, breathes, and answers from awareness. That is mastery. This kind of woman doesn't need to dominate conversations or prove her intelligence. She listens more than she speaks. Her eyes see beyond words. She feels the energy in the room. She can sense who carries truth and who hides behind ego. That awareness is her shield. It keeps her from falling into meaningless conflicts. Her silence is not avoidance. It is protection. When she smiles, it is not a performance. It is a reflection of peace. When she speaks, it is not to impress, but to express what is needed. People remember her words because they come from stillness, not noise. That is why her presence feels healing. She doesn't have to fix anyone. Just being around her feels like a reminder that peace is possible. You see, a spiritually powerful woman doesn't walk fast, she moves with intention. Every action is guided by awareness. Every choice comes from alignment. She doesn't rush life because she understands that what is meant for her will never miss her. This mindset makes her magnetic. People may not understand it, but they feel drawn to her. She radiates stability in a world addicted to speed. The most beautiful thing about her power is that it cannot be taken away. It doesn't depend on who stays or who leaves. It doesn't fade when life gets hard. It grows stronger with every test, because spiritual strength is born through pain, through surrender, and through deep understanding of self. And this is where the journey begins. Before we talk about the 6 unseen marks of women with high spiritual power, you must understand this first truth. The foundation of her power is silence, the silence that listens before reacting, the silence that forgives before blaming, the silence that trusts even when everything seems uncertain. This is the kind of silence that changes lives. It teaches patience. It builds confidence that is not loud but lasting. It reminds the world that calmness is not the absence of strength, it is the highest form of it. So stay with me till the end, because as you discover each unseen mark of these women, you will also discover how to awaken that same power within yourself. The kind of power that doesn't need to shout, because it already knows who it is. When chaos rises, most people break. But a woman with high spiritual power becomes even more centered. Her emotions no longer control her. She feels everything, but nothing owns her. This stillness is not coldness, it is strength in its purest form. It is the calm that comes from deep self-understanding. She has faced the storms inside her mind, and now no outside storm can shake her. Emotional stillness is not about being emotionless. It is about allowing emotions to pass through without letting them take over. When anger appears, she watches it instead of becoming it. When sadness comes, she feels it but does not drown in it. She lets emotions flow like water instead of building walls against them. This quiet awareness makes her untouchable to manipulation because she no longer reacts out of impulse. She responds with wisdom. Human psychology teaches that people who can stay calm in emotional situations hold more power. They see clearly while others are lost in confusion. A spiritually strong woman has mastered this balance. She can be deeply loving yet fiercely detached. She can care without losing herself. She has learned that control over the mind begins with observation, not resistance. This kind of emotional balance gives her a presence that others feel instantly. People sense her peace and feel safe around her. Her energy doesn't fluctuate with mood or situation. She brings stability wherever she goes. Even in arguments, she remains grounded. Her tone stays calm, her face stays peaceful, her eyes stay soft. This doesn't mean she is weak. It means she knows that losing inner peace for temporary satisfaction is too expensive. In a world where reactions rule, she stands as the exception. Her stillness is not silence, it is power under control. It is the ability to stay kind even when misunderstood, to stay graceful even when tested. That is the first unseen mark of women with high spiritual power. Emotional stillness, the calm that turns storms into lessons and pain into wisdom. There comes a time in every woman's journey when she learns that protecting her peace is more important than pleasing others. The spiritually powerful woman understands this truth deeply. She has learned to set boundaries without bitterness. Her no is soft, but it carries weight. She doesn't explain it over and over because her energy already speaks it for her. Boundaries are not built from ego, they are built from awareness. She knows how much she can give without losing herself. She understands that not everyone deserves access to her mind, her time, or her peace. When she feels her energy being drained, she steps back with calm, not rage. This is where her wisdom shines. She no longer needs to cut people off with anger because her energy naturally removes what doesn't align. Human behavior studies show that people often struggle to say no because they fear rejection. But when a woman reaches spiritual maturity, she no longer fears being misunderstood. She realizes that saying no to others often means saying yes to her own growth. Her peace is not negotiable, and her kindness does not mean she allows disrespect. She has learned that boundaries are not walls, they are gates that protect love from being misused. When someone crosses her limit, she doesn't fight for validation. She simply detaches. Her silence becomes her answer. That silence often teaches more than arguments ever could. People feel it, they notice the shift, they realize that her energy cannot be taken for granted. This quiet strength earns respect without demand. Her boundaries are rooted in self-respect, not fear. She doesn't distance herself to punish others, but to stay true to her alignment. She gives only from overflow, not from emptiness. That is why her relationships feel lighter, calmer, and more real. Boundaries without anger are a rare form of power. It is the grace of knowing where you end and where the world begins, and guarding that line with peace, not pride. True compassion is rare because most people love with conditions. They give only when they expect something in return. But a woman with high spiritual power has learned a higher form of love. Her compassion flows freely without chains. She helps not because she wants to be needed, but because it is her nature to heal. She gives and then lets go. She understands that holding on too tightly turns love into control. Her compassion is born from understanding, not from fear of loneliness. She has faced her own pain and turned it into wisdom. That wisdom allows her to see beyond people's mistakes. She can look at someone's anger and still see their wound. She can listen to someone's story and feel their struggle without losing herself in it. This is the power of emotional maturity. She knows she cannot carry everyone's pain, but she can be a light for those who are ready to rise. Psychology shows that true empathy doesn't mean absorbing others' emotions. It means recognizing them while staying balanced within yourself. The spiritually powerful woman has mastered this art. She feels deeply yet remains grounded. Her compassion is clear, it doesn't blind her judgment. When someone takes advantage of her kindness, she doesn't turn cold, she simply learns. Her heart stays open, but her boundaries remain firm. This kind of love is silent yet transforming. It does not demand loyalty, it inspires it. When people experience her energy, they feel seen and accepted, but never controlled. She doesn't need to chase anyone because her presence itself brings peace. Her love is freedom. She loves by allowing others to be who they are while staying true to who she is. Her compassion without attachment teaches a deep lesson. That love is not about possession, it is about elevation. It is the ability to care without clinging, to understand without expecting, to give without needing to receive. This is the love that heals without words and stays pure no matter how the world responds. There is a unique kind of power that exists in silence. The woman with high spiritual power has discovered it. She no longer wastes her energy trying to prove herself or explain her worth. She knows that truth does not need to shout. It simply exists. When people misunderstand her, she does not chase their approval. She understands that silence often reveals what words cannot. Silence gives her clarity. It allows her to observe instead of react. When emotions run high, she retreats into stillness to regain balance. This quiet space becomes her temple. It is where she heals, thinks, and reconnects with her higher self. In that space, she remembers that peace is her home, and she refuses to leave it for anyone's chaos. Most people fear silence because it forces them to face themselves, but she embraces it because she has already faced her inner shadows. She knows that silence is not emptiness, it is awareness. It is the pause between confusion and understanding. Through silence, she has learned to see beyond words. She can read intentions through tone, energy, and small gestures. That awareness keeps her safe. Psychologically, silence creates power because it disarms those who depend on reaction. When others expect anger or defense, she gives calmness. That calmness unsettles negativity and protects her from emotional traps. Her silence doesn't mean she accepts disrespect. It means she chooses peace over argument. She knows that some battles are won by not fighting at all. Her silence is also a sign of discipline. She has mastered the art of choosing when to speak and when to remain still. Her words carry weight because she doesn't speak without reason. People listen when she talks because they know her voice comes from reflection, not impulse. That is the secret of her influence. She doesn't dominate through volume, she leads through presence. This kind of silence is not weakness, it is sacred power. It is the strength to remain unmoved in a world that constantly tries to pull you into noise. It is the courage to let your peace speak louder than your anger, and your calmness louder than your pride. There comes a point in her journey when the spiritually powerful woman stops living for the eyes of others. She no longer shapes her life around what people will think. She lives from alignment, not approval. Every decision she makes now comes from her inner truth, not from the fear of rejection. This shift changes everything. It frees her from the invisible chains of judgment that once controlled her. When she was younger, she might have tried to please everyone. She might have said yes when her heart whispered no. But through pain and reflection, she learned that peace disappears the moment she betrays herself. Now she understands that external approval is temporary, but inner harmony lasts forever. She no longer runs after validation because she has found self-respect. That self-respect gives her a kind of glow that no compliment can create. Human psychology reveals that most people crave approval because it gives them a sense of belonging. But the truth is, belonging that requires you to shrink is not belonging at all. The spiritually strong woman knows this. She chooses authenticity over acceptance. When something feels wrong to her soul, she walks away even if it means walking alone. This courage gives her unmatched power. People may misunderstand her independence. They might call her cold or distant, but she does not explain. She knows that alignment will never make sense to those who live by approval. Her focus is peace, not popularity. Her choices are no longer based on what looks right, but on what feels right. She listens to her intuition more than she listens to opinions. This alignment creates a magnetic energy around her. She becomes a mirror for others to question their own truth. Her confidence is quiet but firm. She doesn't try to be liked, she chooses to be real. That authenticity attracts respect without effort. Alignment over approval is the mark of a soul that has awakened. It is the proof that she has stopped performing for the world and started living for herself. There is a kind of strength that looks nothing like control. It is quiet, effortless, and free. It is the power of surrender. The spiritually powerful woman has learned that life cannot always be forced into her plans. She has seen how resistance only brings exhaustion. Through experience, she discovered that letting go is not giving up, it is trusting that what is meant for her will find her in its own time. Surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the understanding that some things must fall apart so better things can rise. When life takes a turn she didn't expect, she no longer asks, "Why me?" She simply breathes and allows life to unfold. That acceptance opens doors that control never could. Because when she stops fighting, what is, she makes space for what could be. Psychologically, surrender changes the brain's response to stress. Instead of reacting with fear, the mind relaxes into clarity. That clarity allows better decisions, calm communication, and deeper peace. The spiritually awakened woman embodies this peace. She trusts that even her struggles have purpose. She has learned to thank the storm for shaping her even before it passes. When others panic, she stays centered. She knows that control is an illusion that only creates anxiety. Her faith in the flow of life gives her a power that cannot be shaken. People around her feel that serenity and wonder how she stays calm in uncertainty. The answer is simple: she no longer fights with life, she moves with it. This power of surrender makes her unstoppable because she no longer fears loss. She has learned that nothing truly meant for her will ever be lost, and nothing lost was ever truly meant to stay. That understanding frees her heart from attachment and her mind from fear. In surrender, she finds the deepest strength of all, the strength to trust the unknown and to walk forward with peace even when she cannot see the path ahead. A woman with high spiritual power does not rush. Her steps are calm, her energy grounded, her presence steady. She has learned that life is not a race to be won, but a rhythm to be understood. Every movement she makes carries awareness. Every word she speaks carries intention. She walks through the world as if guided by something greater than logic, something that feels like peace in motion. Her calmness does not come from a life without problems. It comes from her deep trust in timing. She no longer forces outcomes or begs for signs. She allows things to happen naturally. This patience gives her power that few understand. While others chase, she attracts. While others demand, she aligns. She knows that what is meant for her cannot be missed, and what is not meant for her will pass no matter how tightly she holds on. People notice this about her. Her pace feels different. She doesn't react to urgency or pressure. When she makes choices, they are slow, deliberate, and confident. This steadiness gives her an aura of quiet control. It is not about arrogance, but balance. She doesn't allow the noise of the world to disturb her inner rhythm. Psychology calls this self-regulation, the ability to stay emotionally balanced even in uncertainty. But for her, it's more than balance, it's spiritual flow. She listens to her intuition and allows it to guide her through every interaction. That inner compass never fails her because it speaks the language of truth. She moves through life like water, flowing around obstacles, not fighting them. Her grace lies in her flexibility. She bends but never breaks. Her calm pace is her protection from the chaos of others. Through her presence, she reminds the world that peace is not found by running faster, but by moving with awareness. This is how she carries herself through every season, steady, patient, graceful, and unshaken by the winds of life. Wherever she goes, people feel a difference. Her presence changes the atmosphere without a single word spoken. It is not about beauty or charm, it is about energy. She carries a calm frequency that speaks directly to the human soul. People who are restless find peace around her. Those who are lost feel a quiet reminder of who they truly are. Her energy heals not by intention, but by nature. When she listens, people open up without knowing why. Her silence makes them feel seen. Her eyes reflect understanding without judgment. She doesn't try to fix others, yet her words and actions have the power to awaken something deep within them. That is the mystery of her influence. She transforms people without effort. Psychologically, humans mirror the energy they receive. Around her stillness, others begin to slow down. Around her peace, they soften. Her calm becomes contagious. Even the most defensive hearts relax in her presence. It's as if her spirit gives others permission to breathe again, to feel again, to believe again. She doesn't demand loyalty, yet people remain loyal to her. They remember how they felt in her presence even more than what she said. That is true impact. It doesn't come from control, it comes from vibration. She vibrates at the level of truth and authenticity, and that naturally pulls others toward her. Even those who envy her cannot deny her light. Her calm confidence exposes insecurity without speaking a word. Some will try to understand her, others will try to imitate her, but few can truly reach that level of balance. Because her energy is not a performance, it is the result of deep inner work. The effect she has on others is not temporary. She plants seeds of awareness in everyone she meets. Some people realize it immediately, others much later. But once you have met a woman with high spiritual power, you cannot forget her. Her energy stays with you long after she leaves, reminding you quietly that peace, strength, and grace are possible within you too. Every woman carries this power within her. It is not reserved for a few chosen souls. It lives inside every heart, waiting to be remembered. But most people look outward for strength, when the real power has always been inward. The message is simple: you do not need to become more, you only need to remember who you already are. Life will test you, life will break you, but those moments are not meant to destroy you, they are meant to wake you. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every silence is a doorway guiding you back to your true self. When you stop fighting the pain and start listening to what it is trying to teach you, transformation begins. That is how spiritual power is born, not from perfection, but from awareness. You are not defined by how loud you speak or how strong you appear. True strength is in your ability to remain kind in a cruel world, to stay soft without being weak, to choose peace, even when chaos surrounds you. The woman who understands this walks through life with quiet fire. She doesn't need to prove her worth because she knows it. Psychology shows that the human mind finds purpose when it connects pain with meaning. The spiritually powerful woman has mastered this connection. She doesn't ask why things happen to her, she asks what they are teaching her. That shift in perspective turns suffering into wisdom and fear into faith. The reward of this journey is peace, the kind of peace that doesn't depend on who loves you or who leaves you, the kind of peace that lives deep inside and stays no matter what happens outside. This is the state of the awakened woman. She has found her balance, her voice, and her truth. And if you are listening to this, your soul already recognizes this path. You are closer to this power than you think. Because the moment you choose awareness over reaction, silence over noise, and truth over approval, you have already begun to awaken the same power within yourself.